Good evening, my friend, and welcome back to my channel. Tonight we are going to do part 2 of my design team project for Tattoo Treasure and Tanya Bomar. So when I left you the last time, I had glued these front and back, and now I have sewn them together, so we have a pocket on each side of the cover. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add a little spine, and I want to have a little bit more place so we can fill this up a little bit more. So I'm not going to just use this as the spine. I want it a little bit thicker and wider, maybe we should say. So I'm going to use this piece of antique linen to put on it. But I think I need to cut down a little bit more. I don't want to cover up the beautiful print on the eco-dyed textile. But I want it to be a bit rough, like in nature. So let's glue this down so I can sew it when it has dried. I could have done it right away, but I wanted you to see how I do it. Just checking one more time so I'm sure that I don't put it the wrong way. It has happened before, so then I'm just taking my piece of textile and gluing it down about a centimeter in onto the front cover. Then I'm doing the same with this, putting on glue about 1 centimeter. And then I will leave about 1 centimeter in the middle, maybe a little bit more. And then it looks like this. And I think that I'm just to keep this together, I will do the same on the inside. Take another piece of this linen. Then just going to put that in the middle so it gets a bit more sturdiness. taking off some threads so it won't be too wild. So we will leave this to dry a little bit so I don't get glue in my sewing machine. I think I will sew it on my machine. I can hand sew it too, but we'll see. We're leaving it to dry first. So then it's also time to do some pockets and decoration on the pages. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do on the first page yet. And this is also the pocket, so I might do something fun. But I haven't decided yet, so I'm leaving it for a little while. So on this side we have also a pocket like this. So we have one on the outside and we have one on from the side, and then we will have a top spot down here. So I have taken a piece from the kit. Have these beautiful borders in different sizes, and I'm going to use that as one of the edges, and that will go on top of that. Going to fold this so it will be a little bit stronger. But first I want to do something with it, maybe a little bit of decoration on it. Let's see what we have. This is going on to a neutral page, so we don't need to think so much about some color. Oh, I'm thinking a little collage will be nice. I have some scrap pieces from old book pages and a piece of lace and a little bit of textile. Tearing it and moving it a bit so it looks a bit more old. Then I'm taking the textile piece. Putting that there. And then we are going for the lace. want a rusty needle on this one. So let's put this in place. And then I'm gluing it on the side. And we have our first top spot done. The next page I have prepared for some lace that will go on this little flap pocket, and I'm going to do the same. I have left a piece of textile that I will fold over the edge to give it some strength. So we can start with putting glue on the paper. And then I'm going to put on the lace. Then we are folding this down. To check so I'm in frame. And then I'm putting some more glue on the inside of the paper. And then I'm folding this textile down. And gluing it down. I use bookbinding glue in case you are new to my channel and my work. I'm using bookbinding glue for everything. You can glue almost whatever you want with it, and it's not so expensive. I buy these in big 1 liter cans and pouring it over in these bottles that are a bit easier to handle. Okay, that was number 2. And the next page will have a piece of watercolor that I have painted. I have a white pen somewhere. I thought I could use. Where did I put it? Not here. Probably had it with me in my on my trip. Yes, here we are. I'm just thinking I will do some highlights. On the darker spots. And this is just some scribbling. I had some boring time, so I just took my pen and my watercolors and scribbled away. I'm about to start another channel with watercolor or painting, mostly watercolor I think, but it will be a bit mixed media and some other things too, so I will link that in my other recordings when I'm done with it. So you can check that out. If you're interested in some painting, I'm going to mostly do things for my journals. Pockets and background pages, journaling cards maybe. So it will kind of go with my journals, but I think that it might be people that isn't interested in painting at all. So if I then do a channel with painting and keep those two apart, then you can choose if you would like to check out the painting or not. I'm just putting on some glue, and then I'm going to use my deco foil and bring out some gold on this. And then we are gluing it down. You can of course do belly bands. You can do pockets that are different in size, but I'm trying to keep this simple now in case we have any beginners that are in need of simplicity. So I think that we can maybe do it so they can see it. And follow it easy. We have all been there and I did appreciate when someone actually thought of me and my problems to be new and not really know what I'm doing. So I'm kind of doing this step by step, and a very easy beginner journal that we all can, for those of you that are more experienced, you can just make it a bit more complicated and different. But those of you that have done this for a while can figure out that yourself. So I'm keeping it on a beginner level. So a piece of lace, and this is a piece from a 1800 pillowcase. So it's a bit fun to have these old laces in it. Gives it a bit of character and soul. Then I'm just gluing it down, and I'm keeping it so this is hanging down a little bit. Leaving the edge to peek down. So the next page is also a flip down, and I'm going to use some silk that I have eco-dyed. You can take paper, or you can take lace, you can take some other textile. Take what you have. Don't go and buy a lot of stuff until you are sure what this is all about and if you like to work with this. So I think I will just take a little bit off this edge so it won't be so narrow to the middle of the book. So we have a little bit of space, so it won't be too thick. See if we can rip this too. So we're getting it straight. I think I will glue it first. It's so thin and a bit crinkled. When you eco-dyed paper, the print always gets more strong on thick paper, but it's the opposite when you do textile. So the best print is on the thin ones. So silk is perfect for eco-dyeing. So then I'm just going to do like this and see if I can rip it. I could, but it followed me. Give it some more glue. Folding this down a little bit so I can glue it a little bit better on the edge to make sure that it will stay in place. Sorry, I guess I'm out of frame again. I'm just straighten it a bit so we have it in the right place. Then I'm just taking some glue onto my finger, and then I'm doing like this on the edge. That will stop the threads from fraying. I think it's beautiful when it is a little bit frayed like this, but I don't want the whole piece to start falling apart thread by thread. So then we are gluing it down on the sides. Now you get this little layering with laces also. Trace a little bit on this side too, so I'm just putting a little bit more glue on those sides too. You can do this on every textile that you find will kind of let go of a lot of threads. And then we have the next one, and I think that will get some lace. This lace is from an old wedding dress that my mother-in-law used when she got married. So something like that, and then I want some piece of this is a pocket that comes with the kit, but I'm going to use pieces of it as this journal is a bit small. The pocket won't fit. So I'm using part of it as decoration instead. There are so many beautiful details in this kit. And I will show you a bit later. There are quotes also. And we will use a few of those. Putting down a glue book so we can use a lot of glue without being afraid that it will smear off something else. I'm using this to take the glue off. And if you think it turns out too much, you can just rip some of it off. But it almost looks like stems in the gold. So on this one I also leave a little bit of lace that can hang down. Like that. This was a top pocket on this one, so I'm not sure what to do on that one yet. But on this one I want some lace again. So we are going to fold this and make it a bit smaller. And instead of taking it off, I'm just gluing it down, so then we get a sturdy edge. I'm going to take a little bit of this one too, so we don't get into the spine and it will be difficult to open and close the page. I want it to, so it won't get straight into the spine. So kind of like perfect if we cut it in the same length on that side. And gluing it down. Squeezing it down, so I'm making sure that it's glued down properly. And if it's not, I'm giving it a little bit more glue on the top to be sure that it's easy to put things in the pocket later on. And glue on the sides. Cutting off the excess. And this is how it looks at the moment. Cutting off a little bit of paper excess that are hanging down and not looking good. You can trim off these pieces later and do the final check on it. Nice. So I'm going to go and sew the spine on, and then we can put this together. So the cover is decorated with a piece of wood and some dyed silk, and I have sewn it onto the cover properly. And also done some French knots on another piece of silk and put some silk on the eco dyeing. So now we are going to sew in the signatures. And I'm going to sew it straight through this piece of textile. So you are going to find the middle of your papers, and then we are going to put them like so where we want them. And then I'm going to take a pen and mark where I want them. So I'm checking so I have it straight and where I think it looks good. Then I'm taking my marker and I'm making a mark in the middle and a bit of the side and a bit on that side. So we have 3 holes. Then I'm doing the same on the papers, so I know where to do the holes. Then I'm taking my tool and I'm going to do a hole through like that, and the third one. And I'm doing the same on this one. Just so it's easier to find where to stitch. So then you're going to check so this is the right side up, so you don't put it like this. I have done that many times, so check one more time before you start sewing. So take your paper and your textile and match them so they are where you want them. Then I'm taking a clip, put one on that side, and then I'm putting one on this side. So this will keep in place while I'm sewing it. So then I'm taking a thread and I have chosen the gray thread that is matching the linen. I have done a knot about 3 inches in on the thread, a little knot there. Can do it a little bit bigger so you can see it. There we go. So I'm starting in the middle and I'm going to sew out through the hole. Like that. Then I'm going back from the outside and then I'm going to find the hole that I have made on this one. So going back, so we have a stitch going there. Then you are going to jump to this hole. So going through on the papers and through the textile. So out in the middle, in on this one, out on that one, and now we are going to go back in the middle. So I'm finding the middle on this one, and then I'm trying to, now I can take this off so I can show you. So I'm going back in the middle, going there where the thread is. Try to not go in the middle of the thread. Which I of course is doing. And then we are back in the middle again. And now I'm kind of tighten this up. And then I'm putting one thread on each side of the one in the middle and making a knot. And now it looks like this, and you have your little journal. Like that. And if you want to be sure that this is sewn properly, then you can go back again and do another layer, or use double thread. You can do which way you prefer. And then I'm going back in this one and right through there, going out in this one, and back in the middle. I thought at least. There we go. And doing another thread. And a big knot. So now it's secure with 2 layers of thread. And we have our little journal sewn. I can see now that this piece of wood would like to have some more glue. So I'm going to just smush in a little bit more glue. Going to put on a clip of some sort. Take this big one. So this will keep it in place in a few seconds, so it's glued properly. So we are going to do a few more decorations on the inside of the journal. So I will put that away for a little while so it can dry.